He's acquired properties in over 50 cities in 12 states and created a turnkey solution for investors on 5 different continents. Mr. RJ Palano.
Good morning, good freaking morning. I'm so excited to share the stage today and fascinated to share the stage with George Ross and Caitlyn Jenner. And one thing about Caitlyn Jenner, you can love her, you can like her, you can dislike her, but you got to know one thing. She had balls to do what she did, and I just want to know where they are. No, I've always had the curiosity of a cat. When I was 6 years old, I walked across the street when they were repaving our street, and I stepped into it in bare feet, first with the left foot, then the right foot. So I've always had that sense of curiosity. My name is Robert Joseph Palano. Most people in business know me as RJ Palano. And it was a sunny day. Blue skies, not a cloud in the sky, and I was at the corner store, and maybe some of you remember when there was corner stores, a neighborhood store, not a 7-Eleven, a racetrack, or a Wawa, whatever it's called out there. And I sat under a large maple tree, and I was drinking a can of imitation cherry soda. The year was 1961. And why this is so memorable to me is because it's my earliest recollection of having established my first goal in life. My first goal was to drink as much cherry soda as I possibly could on an island. And that's where it all began for me. You see, I grew up in a working class family. My father, his parents were from Sicily, my mom's parents were from the UK, and we didn't have a lot, but we had love in our family. And my dad instilled in us a very strong work ethic. At 7 years old, I would shovel driveways in the winter with snow with my older brothers. I then became cutting lawns in the summertime. And at one point, I think I was 9 or 10, and I had a paper route. But not just one paper route, I had 4 paper routes. In the morning, I would deliver the Courier Express. At night, I would deliver the Buffalo Evening News and then the Tonawanda News. And on Thursdays, I would deliver the Record Advertiser, about 1,000 papers. And I would do this because I knew that if I made money, I could do whatever I wanted. From the earliest beginnings of my life, I always knew that I wanted a sense of adventure, and I wanted to be able to do what I wanted to do out of choice, not need. It was later in life that I realized it was important to invest the money that I made so that the money could work for me and not me working for the money. And isn't that what we all want? To work out of choice, not need? You bet it is. But little did I know that my entrepreneurial journey would land me in prison. And I gotta tell you, it's not an easy thing to accept, the shame that comes with it and everything. And as I look back over my life, I've realized that every single setback, every obstacle, every issue, every setback was nothing more than a setup for a comeback. My nemesis at that time was a former Attorney General of New York, then governor, and that was Eliot Spitzer. And it was not an easy thing to go through for me and my family. And thank God I had the support of my family, especially my wife, who's been with me through thick and thin, and there was a lot of thin times. My real estate journey started in 1975 when my brothers and I bought a bar, and we turned it into a country western bar. And let me just tell you, I learned very early in age what not to do in real estate, because that was a great learning experience for 2 years, and I know I never want to own a bar or never own a restaurant, because there are so many ways for people to steal from you, and you just don't know them all until you're involved in that business. But that experience, it prepared me for what I started to do next, and that was to acquire single-family houses. You see, I always knew that the greatest amount of wealth in this country and even the world is in real estate, as George Ross was even talking about yesterday. And I loved the real estate house business, and I jumped on the seminar bandwagon in about 1981. And I applied my trade, and I started doing research in the county hall, buying mortgages at a discount and houses at auction. And what I would do is I would look up people that were holding private mortgages, and we would seek them out, and then I would try to negotiate to buy their mortgage at a discount or part of their mortgage at a discount. I became very good at this. And I got very good at doing title searches But then, like George Ross also talked about, I started delegating that, and I created a team of people to do title searches. And what that led me to is we started to trace missing heirs. You see, in every city, every state, the state has money on deposit that people forgot about, as well as the county. So we would locate the money, then we would find the people, we would negotiate a deal with them to get paid a percentage of the money that we were able to collect for them. We had contracts with social services, we had contracts with banks. It was a great time, but then it got even better. In Buffalo and New York State at that time, they had tax sales. If people didn't pay their property taxes, they had a tax sale. So we started doing the title searches for them. In the mid-'80s, I was doing 87% of all the work for the city of Buffalo and Erie County doing the title searches. But that was during the day. At nighttime, I created a telemarketing team, and we were contacting everybody that had equity in their house to see if they wanted to sell it in a discount because they were going to lose it in about a week, or to provide hard money loans for them. And things were really good until the wheels kind of came off for me in Buffalo. And a couple years later, I was reported in the very newspapers that I delivered that I was the largest owner of single-family houses in Buffalo. And being bigger isn't always better. That just makes you a target. And I was a target of jealous bureaucrats, and that's just part of the story. We moved to Florida in 2002, and I actually thought I died. I thought I died and went to real estate heaven because it was so easy at that time. Houses were skyrocketing in value. I was on, well, not personally, but I had TV commercials, and I had a team of buyers signing up houses. We were wholesaling them to other investors as well as selling them retail. And everything was great until the wheels came off in 2006. In 2006, with the Great Recession, one day I woke up and I noticed that a lot of my net worth had evaporated, and I knew I had to reinvent myself again. And what I did was, well, you can remember now that there was houses for sale in just about every corner in the USA. There was foreclosures, there was one on almost every single street. But buying houses in a down market is like shooting fish in a barrel. What are you going to do with them? And Americans, they were scarred, they were scared. So I knew instinctively that I had to reach out to international investors. So I went to Beijing, Singapore, Brazil, South Africa, Canada, and other promoters found me in France, Israel, Australia, and the UK. And we still work with these people today because we provided a turnkey solution for them, buying houses, rehabbing them, managing them, and they just make passive income. But it wasn't always that good. You know, there was a time in my life where I had more time than money. Now, like George Ross, I have more money than time. And my goal is to pay things forward. And that's why I wrote this book, Confessions of a $200 Million Deal Maker, and I'm giving it away because I want people to also enjoy the same success that I've attained for myself, the self-independence for my family, so that I could pay it forward. You know, in 1992, I went to an Anthony Robbins seminar, and one of the things Anthony said was, what do you want to be on your epitaph? And I said, I want to make a difference in the lives of others. Years later, I changed that after reading about Bernie Madoff, and I changed it to, I wanted to make a positive difference in the lives of others. Very important. And that's why I also got involved with a guy named Franklin Cruz, and we're involved in trueinvestor.com to try to change people's lives, teaching them how to do this business. Is it easy? No. Is anything easy? No, you have to work at it. And if I could leave you with one thing today, a few things very quickly, and that is simply this. In this world, we're no longer competing with people in our areas, okay? In your town, your city, your state, even our country. It's global. It's global. And we have to create our value. We have to create our value and take massive, massive action, because it's important that everybody knows there's no free lunch. Thank you so much for having me here today. Thank you.